The forest. A long time ago, in a faraway village, there lived two best friends. Their names were Tu and Jur. Tu was a talented archer, and Jur was a master trapper. One day, the two friends decided to go hunting in the forest up on the hill for better game. As they went further into the forest, they noticed that it was eerily quiet. Throughout the whole day, they did not catch anything, so they decided to set up camp for the night, not noticing that something was looking at them from afar. The next morning, Tu and Jur went by the river to get ready for another day of hunting.
As Tu was getting ready, he saw a beautiful girl from across the water. She had skin as white as rice and hair dark as charcoal.
Tu turned to Jur, telling him to look at the beautiful girl across the waters, but when they turned around, she was not there. After they walked for a while, the two friends came across one of Jur's traps. The trap looked like it had caught something too big that it broke. As they walked deeper into the forest, they came across a house in a clearing. Just then, the door swung open, and out came two beautiful girls. One of the girls was the one that Tu saw by the river. The girls introduced themselves as Xia and Ba. The girls invited them to stay for the night, and they gladly accepted the girls' hospitality. That night, as the friends were sleeping, Jur woke up to something tickling his feet. Then he heard the door creaked open. He peeked out the door and saw Xia walking into the forest. He did not think much of it, thinking that she was probably just going to use the bathroom. In the next morning, after the two friends finished packing their stuff, they said their goodbyes to the girls and left. Hours passed, and the two friends still did not catch anything, and again they came across another one of Jur's broken traps. As it was getting dark, the two friends lost their way and could not see anything in the dark, only hearing the wind howling and the crackling of the tree and branches. Then suddenly they saw a light. And as the light got closer, a figure of a girl started to come into view. It was Ba holding a torch. Ba led them back to her house, and again they stayed the night. Again, that night, Jer woke up to the feeling of something tickling his feet. He peeped out the door and saw that Shia was walking towards the forest, but again he did not think too much about it. The next morning, Tu decided that he was going to stay behind to help Ba tend to the animals, and so Jer decided to go hunting alone. As he was walking, he saw one of his broken traps and decided to fix it and make it stronger. A few more hours passed, and it got dark. Then, suddenly, he heard a high-pitched screech. He was so startled that he started running. Losing his ways, he continued to run faster until he saw a light in the distance. It was Tu and Ba coming out to look for him. They led him back home, and again that night, when as Jer was sleeping, he felt something tickling his feet, woke up, and saw again that Shia was walking towards the forest, but this time limping. Jer decided to follow Shia into the forest. After a while of walking, Shia came to a stop in front of an old house. As she walked into the house, Jer creeped behind the wall of the house and took a look inside through a crack in the wall. Inside, he saw Shia's body start to bend and shift into an inhuman form and gave out a monstrous scream. Filled with terror, Jer ran back to the house as fast as he could. Back at the house, he saw Ba. He grabbed his knife and snuck behind her. Before he could slit her throat, Tu came and stopped him. Tu convinced Jer to drop his knife, and then Ba apologized and explained to them that her sister and her were monsters and they were planning to kill and eat Tu and Jer. But Ba couldn't bring herself to kill Tu, as she had fallen in love with him and had decided to help them escape. Ba explained that the only way for them to escape her sister was by riding the strongest horse in their stable out of the forest. So they got to the back of the strongest horse and ride straight into the forest. From behind them, they could see a monstrous figure scampering towards them, closing in. Shia almost reached them, but then Tu turned around, grabbed his bow, and shot an arrow straight into her head, stunning her. Shia wailed in pain, calling out, "Why have you betrayed me, my sister?" As they were reaching the end of the forest, they saw a light. Coming out of the village, Tu and Jer could see their village from below the hill. As the trio was about to walk down the hill, suddenly long strands of hair burst out of the forest. The long strands of hair suddenly wrapped around Tu's waist and pulled him back into the forest. Jer and Ba couldn't do anything but listen to Tu's blood-curdling scream as he was eaten by Shia. The end.